Hi Aries, welcome to Carol's Universe, tarot readings from the heart. So we're going to do your week ahead reading. It's the 12th to the 18th of August 2019. Actually, let me just put on my screen. It's just so I can see the cards via another screen. If I just look at my camera, then usually it's it's a very small view. Okay. So, weekly check-in, we're using the two decks by Barbara Moore. I love her decks, they're incredible. Tarot of the Hidden Realm, had this deck a while, good few months. At first I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. And then I decided, yes, I think I'll use it for the weeklies. And it really is astonishingly very, very good. Excellent. We're using the Tarot in Wonderland, also by Barbara Moore. This one is illustrated by Julia Jeffrey, and this one is illustrated by Eugene Smith, talented or what. We're also using the Ancestral Path Tarot new deck that I got, I think it was maybe a couple of days ago. Incredible. Julia Kuchia Watts, and Spiritual Advice is the Angel Answers. Your 15 cards, reading at the end, where we look at other general energies coming in, love, finance, work. Everyday Enchantment Tarot, Poppy Palin. Spiritual Advice, love, romance, angels, work, money, angels of abundance, and anything else. Tea leaf, fortune cards. Let's get shuffling. Okay, so here we go. Aries, you are showing this week as being the Judgment card, Judge and Jury. I think that there's two things really. When you show as being Judgment, you're showing us being going through a rebirth stage, because the Judgment energy is ruled by the planet Pluto actually, and that's the planet of transformation. So it's like death. Judgment and death are very similar in terms of a transformation occurring, and some of you guys are being called. And I think that what's interesting about this Judgment card is that we see a woman who is she's going, I don't know, I think she's underwater, but she's almost looking at a reflection of herself. And Judgment means so many things within the tarot. On the one hand, the Judgment card is all about making an assessment or a review of a situation. It's about making a final judgment, a decision to do something about a situation or to let it go. Judgment is also about releasing oneself from old patterns, old habits, old behaviors with the Judgment energy. Judgment is also about taking accountability for your situation, for your experiences, for, and when we say taking accountability, it falls in line with cards like the Justice energy, where it's about, cause and effect. Whatever it is you put in is what you get out. And sometimes with the Judgment, because she's kind of taking a look at herself and she's seeing herself in this mirror or this water, she's seeing her own reflection. So, this is about going inward in a way with the Judgment energy and taking accountability and owning up and facing up to who we truly are. So I feel with the Judgment energy this week as well, Aries, some of you guys are truly facing up to who you are. And I think you can see who you are quite clearly, and from there we need to make some adjustments. Because I think the Judgment card can, I'm not sure whether it's this or Justice, might be one of them. I think it's called Adjustment or something. I could be wrong, it might not be either of them, it could be anything, it could be home, I'm not sure. But I've heard that somebody can tell me maybe what the Justice, what the other Adjustment is known as in the majors. But certainly I feel that you guys are taking accountability for who you are this week. I think that there is very much a spiritual calling, and I think that you're being called to take a deep look into who you are and to take a look into that looking glass. I think that you guys are being very much called to do that this week with this Judgment energy. And I think that this is less about calling anything else or anyone else out with the Judgment energy, Aries, and it's more about, it's almost like you're being pulled this week, and the universe is saying to you, it's time for a change, Aries. It's time to really look in that mirror and really take accountability for where you are, while you are where you are, and to look into the glass, to look into yourself, to take a reflective look, a deep reflective look at yourself. And from there, maybe there are adjustments that you need to make, because the theme of the week is all about, well, the High Priestess, which is it is a very, very interesting card, because this is about change. The theme of the week is all about, if you look at Judgment and Justice, You know, there is a system to the tarot, and there is a system to having the majors sitting next door together. So, you know, High Priestess maybe with a judgment card can mean changes, and travel are indicated when you get those two together. Okay. But, you know, I like to do tarot in terms of things making sense to me when I look at, so, you know, even though the, you know, when you look at the major arcanas, they're the universe's way of telling us about the bigger things around us, about the bigger energies that we may need to deal with, about the bigger lessons that we need to learn, about the, you know, the bigger things that we need to kind of know about, and that may have an effect on our lives going forward. It also needs to be, for me, that it makes sense. So the theme of the week is all about the High Priestess. So this is about things that are hidden. Now you can see that the scroll is not open. And she sits with the scroll, and it looks like she's about to open it. This woman could be this one here, you know. She could be this person here, you know, because she could be finally opening herself up to look in the mirror. And I feel with the High Priestess, sometimes this can be a card about, and this is big energy because you've got major energy here. So the High Priestess, the theme of the week with the High Priestess, this could be about tapping into your intuition, for example. As cheesy as that kind of explanation with this card is, it's very true. So this could be a week where you are tapping into your intuition, Aries. It could be a week with the High Priestess where you are going deeper. There's much more kind of inner reflection of a situation with this High Priestess. There is much more of a deeper knowledge being conjured and being cultivated from within, so much so that you guys are kind of placing a judgment on that. You know, this is about a secret. This is about something that has been hidden, something that hasn't come to the surface. That's the week. The week is about secrets and things that haven't come to the surface, but things in which there is a deep knowledge and almost a strong intuitive energy surrounding it. This is about going from darkness to light. Okay, so it's a week from going from the lack of clarity into the clarity with this energy here, and therefore this is you guys. Perhaps in order to do this energy, Aries, perhaps there is a need with the judgment energy to really take a very deep, honest look into who you truly are. And I feel that the universe is saying, well, if there is real stillness, perhaps, Aries, within your life, because the High Priestess is also very still energy. She doesn't move, you know, very passive energy. There's no action here. So this is a week for taking action, because judgment is your action card. Judgment requires you, and if you can't do it for yourself, it almost reminds me in a way, the judgment card is about, it almost reminds me of the Tower. Sometimes if we don't do stuff, Aries, then the universe is going to make you do it. And I think that the universe is calling you this week, Aries, to take a deep, inner reflective look at yourself, because the theme of the week is that things are very still. There's no movement here with the High Priestess. It might be for some of you guys that you are going through a very transitional phase, because we have the dark area here. I think this is called Boaz and Joachim, from darkness through to light. So some of you guys are going through a real transformative stage, I think, with this High Priestess energy as well. I think there is a deep transformative stage some of you Aries people are going through. Okay, and I feel that this time has been one of silence and stillness for you. But I feel that this week the universe is calling you now to own up to this. It's almost asking you, well, what have you found? You've been going through this transformative stage for such a long time, where there's been just absolute stillness. You've said, I'm going to do this, or you've said, I'm going to do that, but you've not moved. You've just sat and you've just thought, and you've just said, when the time is right, it'll be time for me to take action. But the universe is calling you and saying, well, no, Aries, now is the time for action, because this is you. Now is the time to hold yourself to account and to look at what you have done. You've been spending so much time trying to figure yourself out with this High Priestess for far too long. You do have a deep knowledge of what's going on here, because she always does, but she's also going from darkness through to light. But the universe is saying, well, no, you've done enough of that now. We want answers from you, Aries. We want you to tell us what you see. So now, this week, it's all about, you're being called out, Aries. You're being told to start taking a look in that mirror. Tell us what you see. So I feel that this is almost like a lesson. But it's not just a lesson, it's a test. And some of you guys have been tested for quite a while. And some of you guys have been in the mire, being that you've been going through this transformative stage, but you've not really known, well, what are the actions that I need to take in order to become reborn, in order to move from one phase, from this phase into this one, which is the rebirth stage, I guess, of the judgment energy. And the universe is saying, well, this week, you're going to be called to do something maybe that's going to push this into action. So this is a call to action for some of you guys this week, that you can't remain the high priestess forever. You can't remain pondering and wondering and, you know, what am I going to do? Or, you know, what am I here to do? Or should I stay here? Or should I go? You're being called to take an action that is going to start kicking this into gear. What is your goal for the week? Well, your goal is just to sit back and wait, and it's the same thing. High Priestess and the Hangman can be very similar cards. They don't act. They're kind of like, let me just sit back and think about it. I don't want to take any action. I just want to sit back and think about it. I mean, there's two things. I mean, your goal for the week, Aries, might be, well, I'm just going to sit back and think about it a little bit more. Your goal for the week might be to gain some more spiritual insight with the Hanged Man energy. Because the Hanged Man is all about sacrifice. And it's all about gaining spiritual insight. You know? The Hanged Man is all about being able to see things from another perspective. So maybe your goal for this week is you've been sitting pondering something here. You've been going through a transformative stage, but you've not known how to kick something into gear. So this week it's about being called to action. And your goal might be this week, well, I'm hoping to be able to see something maybe from an alternative point of view. It's not to do, but it's to see. Again, there's still no action being taken. It's almost like you tend to make excuses just not to do something. I'm not being horrible, Aries, but that's how it feels. It feels like you tend to make excuses so you don't have to do stuff. But the universe wants you to act, because the action card is the Judgment energy. It's calling you to take an action here. And that's to take a deep look into why this is. What is the obstacle that you need to overcome? The Ten of Cups. So this is all about success and emotional contentment. It's also about the family. But tens usually mean the ending of a cycle. They don't usually mean an ending of a cycle, to be totally honest with you. I mean, they are the ending of a cycle, you know, but that's just like a techie thing, really, I think, with the tarot. The tens also mean the fulfillment of their suit. So the obstacle is you being emotionally, I think, fulfilled. This is your obstacle you need to overcome. But actually, I don't think it's that. I think the obstacle you need to overcome is that you feel that you've achieved everything that you have, that you can. You're feeling, for some of you Aries, no, I'm at the place that I should be now. I've accomplished a lot, because tens mean accomplishment. I'm feeling comfortable with the Ten of Cups energy, and that's the obstacle, because I think that because there is such this sense of feeling comfortable and feeling like, in a way, I'm where I should be, and there's no need, you know, I've achieved everything I need to achieve with this Ten of Cups. This might be why the theme of the week is all about you going from this transformative stage, where you just seem to sit and ponder and think, well, you know, I feel okay, actually. I feel all right. I feel like I've accomplished a lot of stuff here. Why would I need to kind of make any more inroads on anything? And that's why your goal is for the week is to make a slight adjustment, I would say, with the Hanged Man energy. I think that your goal for the week is to make a slight adjustment. But I do feel that the theme of the week is that some of you guys, there is still this passive energy showing it. And you guys this week are showing this judgment, really having to take a deep, hard look into why there is being very little movement and traction in an area of your life. One of those things will be because the obstacle is that you feel that you've fulfilled as much as you can. Definitely on an emotional level with that Ten of Cups energy. What you could be achieving by the end of the week, Aries, is... yeah, well, that's good. The Page of Wands, you need a bit of fire in there. You could be achieving the first steps, because that's what the Page of Wands is. All pages represent first steps. So you might be achieving the first steps towards, and this will be an action that is taken, you know. Whether it's sending out that email with the Page of Wands energy saying, you know, can I come and visit your whatever? Can I come and do this? Or, you know, when are you open? When's your museum open? Or, you know, can I get some information on, you know, a new position that I think I might be interested in? Or maybe this is getting some information on traveling to a new country or something like that. Because I just feel that we have energies, 1, 2, and 3, that suggest very passive energy in this reading. The only two action cards are your Page of Wands and your Judgment, because you are being called to take an action. That is to take a deep, hard look into why you guys have been this High Priestess. I don't mean holding secrets. I mean just being passive. And why you've been going through this transformative stage for so long. And why still, with this Hanged Man, your goal is to just make some minor adjustments maybe to the situation. Whereby you say, well, let me have a look at something in another way then. But there's still no action here. And the universe is saying, well, it's because your obstacle that you need to overcome is that you're really comfortable where you are, and you think that you've accomplished as much as you can, definitely on an emotional level. So some of you guys, your obstacle to overcome is that you feel that, you know, I've achieved satisfaction where I am. But if you truly had achieved satisfaction, Aries, you wouldn't be doing you wouldn't be doing the judgment energy. You wouldn't be trying to take a deeper look into why, or you wouldn't be acting on with that judgment energy, the need to gain answers on why you've been going through this transformation for so long, but there's been no action on that. You've not kickstarted, it's not really kickstarted you into doing anything in a different area or making any real adjustments. You do make some adjustments, but this is just kind of an excuse. Because, well, my goal for the week is just to, you know, to try and make a few little bit of adjustments with this Hangman energy. But, you know, there's not really anything else. So it's almost like you give excuses that you're going to do stuff, but you end up just not doing it because you feel, well, I feel okay as I am. And that's what the Ten of Cups is really at its heart. It's saying, well, I feel satisfied as I am. Why should I make any changes? Why should I make any adjustment? You know, I've got enough food on the table. I've got enough, you know, drink. I'm gratitude. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. And I don't know whether it's because I just feel that there's a little bit of, and it's unlike in a way Aries, because you are ruled by, is it the Ram? I don't do much astrology, but you should really be quite ambitious, shouldn't you? Or am I wrong? Shouldn't you be one of the ambitious signs like Leo? You know, you represent leaders. Leo is the lion, you are the ram. Like Capricorn is the, you know, the goat. There are certain signs, I guess, in the tarot, in the zodiac. I don't do astrology, I do tarot. But it can't help to learn a bit more, I guess, about astrology to go in with this stuff. But you should really be quite assertive, shouldn't you, Aries? And I don't think it's because you're afraid, and I don't think it's because you lack confidence. I think it's because you're just really comfortable. And sometimes when we get really comfortable, we don't feel that there is a need for any type of change. And we don't feel that there is a need to kind of challenge ourselves to do different things. But you are kind of, by the end of the week, achieving the first steps in movement here, which is good. What do you need to avoid? The Two of Coins. So I feel that you need to avoid taking on too much with this Two of Coins energy this week. Trying to balance different things. But I don't even think it's that, to be honest. There's a smack of that when I look at the story of the cards. I think you need to avoid kind of saying that you're going to have one or the other. Because the Two of Coins can mean all sorts of things. It can mean that you're juggling things. It can mean that you're trying to balance stuff. It can mean that you're trying to create positive change. It can mean that you're having lots of fun. There's all sorts of things. It can mean transfer. It can mean lack and having to manage what you have. But I just get the impression that you need to avoid saying, he's weighing things up. So you need to avoid weighing things up, almost like saying, well, it's either one thing or it's another. Because I think that you can have it all. I actually think that you can have it all. But I think that it's almost like you're saying, well, if I'm going to make this transformation and this change, then I'm going to have to put something to the past. And that might be why you're showing us judgment as well. Number one, you may be judging yourself in that way. You might be saying, well, if I'm going to make this transformation, then maybe I can't have the other things. Maybe this is the one thing I've got to focus on. The other thing might be with the judgment energy, showing them the fact that you've got to avoid this Two of Coins energy, weighing things up and saying, well, maybe, you know, I can only have the one or the other. It's not reverse to say you're dropping something, but it's still weighing things up and you need to avoid that. It might be that this is why you show us judgment, feeling that you are going through, or you're having to go through that porthole of completely, is it porthole or whatever you call it, that hole of complete transformation, where things are going to completely change on a personal level for you. And the universe might say, well, you need to avoid kind of thinking that it's one thing or the other, because maybe you can have both things. What is the thing that you need to embrace? The Queen of Coins. Could be a person, yeah. But I also feel that you need to embrace that you have enough, which is good, that you are still going to be stable and you're still going to be secure. You've really built a strong foundation in whatever it is you do, Aries, with this Queen of Coins energy. The Queen of Coins isn't so much about building stuff. The Queen of Coins has already built her empire. She's already built what she has. fact is, she maintains it through good accountancy and clever workmanship. That's what she does. She knows where every last thing is. And what you need, and also with the Queen of Coins, come to think about it, of course. You see here where I was saying that you need to avoid thinking that you can only do one thing but you can't do the other. You need to avoid that because you need to embrace it. You can do it all, which is what the Queen of Coins is. She's a career woman, she's a mother, she's a lover, she's a gardener, she's a businesswoman. She does everything. She multitasks and she does it very well. Nothing is out of order. Everything is in its place. So I think that you need to embrace it. You can have it all. You can do it all with this Queen of Coins energy. You have the skills, you have the ability, you have the resources, you have the intelligence to accomplish everything you want and not drop a beat. But you got to believe in that. Some of you guys are just too settled in who you are to say that you want to kind of go through that kind of hole of change, as it were. I don't know if you know if there's a hole of change, but you see where I'm coming from. If you need support, where can you go? The Queen of Swords. This is the perfect person to go to. Go to someone who's going to tell you like it is. Go to someone who's going to be objective about the situation. You need to speak to someone who isn't going to pander to you. Who isn't going to say to you, oh, well, if you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, then don't. You've got enough anyway with the Ten of Cups energy. You're settled, aren't you? You're happy, aren't you? Why do you need to challenge yourself any further? Why bother? You don't need that in a person. You need somebody who's going to be objective and say, okay, well, let's have a look at the pros and cons of the situation. What are the benefits? What are you going to get out of it if you do this? And what are the things that aren't benefits, you know? What are the pros of you doing whatever? What are the cons of you doing? This person will draw up a list and say, well, let's look at the situation through an objective viewpoint. And let's decide whether this will work or not. That's what you need as a support mechanism. Because if you have somebody around you who say, oh, don't worry about it. Why are you challenging yourself anyway? Why are you doing this or why are you doing that anyway? You don't need to. You're already sorted. Then what happens is you don't do anything. You remain this person between two worlds, between the darkness and between the light. Always probably because her body is pointing towards the light. Can you see how her body turns towards this? Always wanting to go towards the light, but finding that you're still in the dark. You remain that person between two worlds. Because it's much more comfortable in the unknown. It's more comfortable, in the known. That's the thing. And she is the known as well. It's far more comfortable to live in the known rather than to do the unknown. Judgment. To reinvent yourself. Because some of you guys are reinventing. The card Judgment is about reinvention. And because it's you this week, you're showing us reinventing yourself. But in order to reinvent yourself, Aries, you've got to take a deep, hard look into why it's taken you so long to go through this transformation. You want to do it because you're pointing towards the white pillar. But you've been stuck in this other world where you're like, well, I'm really comfortable where I am. I've made enough money, or I'm just contented to be so. I don't really want to challenge myself. I don't feel the need to. I don't know why I should. Because my key goal is the Hanged Man. By the end of the week, my key goal is to maybe make some adjustments to how I'm doing things or how I'm seeing things. But still, this is no movement again. And the universe is saying, well, what you could achieve, Aries, by the end of the week is at least some baby steps towards taking action. Ones are action, and this is the baby steps towards that action. You need to avoid thinking that you can't have it all, thinking it's going to be one or the other with the Two of Coins energy. And you need to embrace that you are actually the Queen of Coins. You can do everything. You can have the career, you can have the relationship, you can do what you were doing before and still carry on building on that as well. You can have it all. You have the ability to do everything. If you need advice and support, go to somebody who's going to be honest, upfront and objective with you, not somebody who's going to pander to you and keep you in the dark. Let's have a quick look at what the advice is, spiritual advice. Universe, Spirit, what is the spiritual advice that you have for Aries in this reading? What's the spiritual advice for Aries? It's saying you're going to have success. Okay. Alright. That means, because when it starts making sense, I stop shuffling. Any other advice you have for Aries? Firstly, they say you're going to have success, Aries. What is the other? It says no. And then yes. I have no idea what. It says no and then yes. Still coming up with that. A year from now, you're going to be ready. Meditation will bring answers. And there will be helpful people too. I don't know why he's saying that, but it says no, and then it says yes. It's almost like it changed its mind. I don't know what that is, but it says a year from now, you're going to be ready. Maybe you're not ready for something right now. Meditation is going to bring you answers and helpful people, okay? I'm hoping that you're ready before that, because I think that this is a real week of kind of reassessing and reevaluating and reviewing some of the stuff that you're not changing up in your life, Aries. Fine, some of you guys, it may be a year from now. It might be right now, you're just not ready to kind of think about those changes. That'll be, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's fear. I just think it because you're quite strong. I just think for some of you guys, you're just so comfortable in doing something. Maybe for some of you, it might be fear. It's not really suggesting it for me here. But if there's anything to do with fear, it will be because you need to avoid thinking that you're not going to be able to do everything as well. Two of Coins could be, well, you need to avoid thinking, because this is juggling. So there's two ways I could look at this. You need to avoid thinking I need to do one thing over the other. The other thing could be you need to avoid that shit, can I juggle everything? Because you can with the Queen of Coins energy. You can do it. Because just looking at the theme of the reading, it just seems that you don't want to take that action in this area. So this to me wouldn't be saying avoid doing too much, because you weren't doing too much here in the first place. Very interesting reading, guys. We're going to get your 15 card reading. Bear with me. Okay, Aries, cards down. Let's have a look. So this week, other energies, the 10 of Coins. Family, accomplishment is the 10 of Coins energy. Wealth. 4 of Coins. So it's interesting. 2 coin cards. Coins usually, more than one, usually means something to do with money. Securing property. This is property and this is securing. Some of you guys could be securing a property, for example, showing here. 4 of Cups. But 4 of Cups is disinterest. There might be something to do with securing a property showing up here. Or it could be, because this is definitely property, I think. And the 4 of Coins is securing. Okay. This is also fulfillment and achievement and accomplishment. Saving money. But the 4 of Cups is a very personal card when it shows unhappiness. The 4 of Cups is I am. I am personally unhappy. So there's something to do with a personal property or securing some property showing here. I think that some of you guys aren't 100% happy. You seem to be bored, or you seem to be unhappy with something going on with the security maybe of your property or securing property. 7 of Swords reverse shows up here. So 7 of Swords in the reverse is coming clean. It's a revelation. It's a secret being unearthed. It's going back to clear up a mess. It's being honest with the 7 of Swords in the reverse. Temperance is healing. What an eclectic array of cards. Let's have a look at them then. So this week, Aries, there's other energies coming in. And I'm just talking generally. So Temperance is all about healing and balance. The 7 of Swords in the reverse is about opening up and being honest. So this is honesty. Okay, mediation is this. If you look at these two people, there's a mediator here. Somebody's trying to bring harmony and balance back to a relationship. They're trying to mediate. They're trying to bring some balance. This is about being honest. So honesty showing up this week, or a secret being revealed, or somebody is coming clean with you this week with that 7 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, and this is all about mediating. Okay, I think you're going to be mediating with somebody who's coming up. They're kind of being honest. Aries with you. I think there's somebody around you who's going to be confessing, because that's what I was looking for. 7 of Swords is a confession. I think there's a big confession going to be made to some of you guys, and I think that this is going to deal in about mediate. So somebody might confess to you something, and therefore afterwards it might be that you try and do some control damage or damage control, because Temperance energy is kind of like, when you go into rehabilitation, reminds me of Temperance. So it almost feels like somebody's confessing something to you, and it could be maybe there is an energy about rehabilitating the relationship. I'm seeing some honesty here. I mean, some unhappiness here with the Four of Cups energy. There's disinterest. I think this disinterest is concerning somebody who's being honest with you this week. Somebody who's confessing something. You sort of thought, I'm not interested in what this person has to say. And it's almost like this person with the cup, offering you the cup here, is trying to cajole you. They're saying, look, let me just explain. So this person's trying to give you their cup. They're trying to open up to you. They're opening up their heart, because the Four of Cups, it's still got the Ace of Cups on it. And the Ace of Cups is all about opening up the heart. So I'm getting the impression somebody's opening their heart to you, and they are confessing with that Seven of Swords in the reverse. Okay, somebody's opening their heart to you. So I think the Four of Cups is actually somebody opening their heart to you. They're confessing with that Seven of Swords in the reverse. Temperance energy. I get the impression with that temperance energy, Aries, the confession is something to do with them. There's one woman here and she's facing off two people, but she's giving a cup of juice to this one here and a this one here. It almost feels like this person was playing the field a little bit. They were kind of showing interest in one person, but at the same time the other. I'm going to read that differently because of the way it feels. I think you're kind of showing a lack of interest. Somebody's trying to apologise to you, I think, Aries here. And I think that somebody is opening their heart to you and they're confessing to you that they were probably playing you off against another individual, or they were playing around with you as well as someone else. Four of Coins energy. I'm seeing some form of... This is a long-term relationship, and I don't think this is about the securing of a property. All right, this could be something about some of you guys wanting to secure a property. So we could just read that on its own and say, well, maybe this week some of you guys are looking to secure Four of Coins energy, a property, for example, or maybe even to protect your property with that Ten of Coins and that Four of Cups energy. Four of Coins energy showing it. Could also be maybe there is some distance, perhaps, within a relationship. There are coin cards though, so I'm likely to think this is more about property and security showing up here because they're coins. But it's not money as such, it's more about property and security, I would call it, in these energies here. Also, the Four of Coins is saving. Ten of Coins can be marriage. Maybe one of you is, or someone's trying to save the marriage. They're opening a heart to you. Perhaps this is something to do with confessing. I'm seeing somebody opening their heart. They're confessing that they did something with the Temperance energy. Temperance can also be meddling in the tarot. Not a lot of people know that, but I've seen this card show up for someone who's meddling in someone's affair. So it might be that somebody's opening their heart to you. They're confessing that they have been meddling in your affairs showing up here. And it might be this Four of Coins energy. There is some disharmony or distance within a relationship in the home, or it could be even be in work or the home. Somebody's opening their heart, they're confessing that they've been meddling as well in your affairs, potentially, somewhere along the line. Let's have a look at what's going on around love, Aries. Possibly, if you're a male, a young earth sign female. She won't yet be 25, she'll be very young, potentially. Or this is just a young individual or somebody with a young outlook. Could be black, could be dark-skinned, or, you know, dark-haired. More than likely female, but can be male as well. I'm seeing a younger person showing here. I'm seeing you guys probably walking away from a younger person. The back is turned to this individual. With this handout, it's almost like once you gave this person a chance, but now you've decided to turn your back on them here. Possibly with them showing as a page, I get the impression, Aries, they were really childish. They weren't mature enough for you. Three of Cups, discussion. Possibly Three of Cups being around friends. You know, that type of thing with the Three of Cups energy. Friendships, that's how I see that. Page of Swords. I get the impression, Page of Swords, some of you guys are going online and looking for other people, probably. Because the Page of Swords is the online card and you're connecting and communicating with other groups. So I feel that you're turning your back on somebody who... I get the impression this is someone you didn't date very long for some of you Aries people. Could be a younger earth sign, doesn't have to be, but they'll have a young outlook or they'll be childish or immature perhaps. So you're turning your back on this person, and I see you doing some internet dating or searching around maybe on one of those dating sites online, other groups. You're looking at other groups here of people. Seven of Wands. I feel that you'll get a lot of interest with that Seven of Wands, because the Seven of Wands in a love reading shows lots of interest, alright? So, younger male, female, or somebody who's quite immature, lack of interest from Aries. searching around with the Page of Swords energy online at other groups and possibly getting a lot of feedback and a lot of attention and a lot of interest with that 7 of Wands. So it's not too bad. It happens, doesn't it? You know, you find someone online and you're like, oh, they're good, nice, and then it's like, oh no, they're not so nice, I'm not really that interested, and then suddenly it's like, oh well, let me have a look again, and then you get lots of interest, you know. Let's have a look at your work career. Okay, some of you guys juggling quite a bit. 2 of Coins is juggling a couple of jobs or doing too much. Queen of Wands. Okay, now Aries, that's you. Okay. So the Queen of Wands is extraordinarily ambitious, and some of you guys might be juggling a lot here. Looks to be because of you're quite ambitious, or you're attracting in maybe with the Queen of Wands energy. So you've got an Empress energy showing here. This is the card of nurturing, but it's also the card of creativity. Okay. Motivation. Creativity. I think that some of you guys are juggling a few projects here with the 2 of Coins energy showing here. And I feel that this being you, Aries being the Queen of Wands, I think there's an ambition here. The ambition might be to start something creative. Empresses usually mean creativity, so you might be ambitious. Your ambitions might lie in creating something with this Empress energy, because she's a creative card when it comes to work. Hierophant, this is something to do with teaching. Okay, because the Empress, the Hierophant energy is all about teaching. And usually when you get these 2 cards together, there's something to do with... there's action happening through, it's something to do with your imagination, because the imagination is the Empress energy, and this is something to do with studying or religious studies or something like that. But I feel with the Queen of Wands, you're taking action, you're taking the lead, you're taking command of something creative here. Okay, something creative, maybe something that can teach, maybe you're acting as a teacher with the Hierophant energy. However, the 3 of Swords, maybe you're guiding heartbroken people, because the 3 of Swords is all about somebody who's heartbroken. This is guidance. The Hierophant is the guidance counselor, and this is the Empress. So some of you guys might be looking at creating maybe a business where you are guiding or helping people who are depressed, for example. So it might be that some of you guys for work, you're juggling a couple of jobs, or you're kind of toying with the idea as well, because the 2 of Coins can kind of be toying. So some of you guys might be toying with that 2 of Coins energy, with the idea of the Queen of Wands energy. So going out there, and this is about promoting as well with the Queen of Wands, but also action, taking action. Queen of Wands is an action card. So you might be toying with the idea about yourself taking action. Creating perhaps a business in which you are helping, guiding people who are depressed or forlorn with that 3 of Swords energy. Okay, so I actually feel that within your, this is about creating your own business. Usually when you get a Queen of Wands in a work reading, this can be about somebody who's creating their own business, and plus you've got an Empress showing up here. Okay, just thinking, looking at those cards as well, some of you guys might be feeling a little bit up and down, 2 of Coins energy. Maybe you're reaching out to an Empress. This would be a really nice boss, for example. Maybe you need to gain some information. Could be for some of you guys why you lost a job, 3 of Swords. Something like that. But I do think in the main, Aries, that this is about you guys kind of toying with that 2 of Swords, 2 of Coins energy, in terms of taking action, Queen of Wands. Maybe this is with someone here, you and this person here, setting up maybe some helpful business, or this is about you creating a business. Maybe this is something to do with helping people who are going through a difficult time, because the Hierophant is also a guidance counsellor, and the 3 of Swords can be somebody who's heartbroken, so you might be doing that as well. Let's have a quick look at your advice. Let's have a look at the and I think that the Hierophant and the Empress energy, I think that the one of the meanings for this card is that you are something about an answer being found, something like that. through action. I don't know, something like through your action, through your imagination, that type of thing. And possibly something to do with religious studies. But I wouldn't call that really, I think that might be a very old meaning or something. I think that this is more about with this Empress energy. Because the Queen of Wands is action. So we've got a 1 card here. It's talking about action being taken here. And that Empress is all to do with creating or creativity. So an action being taken in terms of something creative. These will be big energies though. Because you've got 3 arcanas. No, sorry, 2 arcanas. I do apologise. The creativity of the Empress and the more kind of traditional guidance of the Hierophant. So maybe this is nurturing or healing through guidance, and it's to do with people who are sad. So some of you guys toying with the idea of taking action. This is possibly something to do with providing guidance through nurture, through kindness, through support. Maybe supporting people who are downtrodden. You might be wanting to set something up where you can help people who are hurting and finding it difficult, that type of thing. What is the advice, okay, for love? Saying it's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. That's for love, okay, this energy here, where I'm seeing somebody around you, they are either younger or they act younger, immature. You turn your back and you say, let me go and have a look online again at the other groups or other people. I see you getting a lot of interest. So it's saying it's safe for you to love again here. I also feel that in terms of work, what is the Angel of Abundance saying in terms of your work reading? What is the advice you have for Aries in terms of work? Partnership shows up here. See that? So the partnership card says, allow healthful, supportive partnerships. And I can see that because you can see there the partnership, the healthful and supportive in the Empress energy. Perhaps this is partnering up. 2 of coins, because it's 2 coins, 2 things. Partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven and from a person who brings needed skills and resources, and that might be it with the Empress energy. Maybe this is an Empress who brings those resources, because the Hierophant can also be about the resources that we need, especially when it comes to spiritual resources as well. Might be in terms of helping others. So it might be that some of you guys, you're weighing up taking action. This might involve another individual, an Empress who brings spiritual resources perhaps. You know, this is a person, a woman who brings spiritual resources in terms of maybe helping to clear energies. Well, 3 of Swords means also to clear those energies because it's swords going through a heart. So you might be dealing with a person here who can bring spiritual resources in order to help clear maybe some negative energy with that 3 of Swords. So this could be some deep spiritual shit you guys are involved in. Aries. Let's have a quick final look at your tea leaf cards. Okay. Definitely for some of you guys reaching out to a very spiritual woman as well, I think, in there. That might be where the partnership is. Universe Spirit, can you show me in 3 cards advice for the week for Aries, please? So 1, 2, oh, we've got 3 up. Gave me 3 in my hand. So firstly, Aries, what we have is wind chimes. There'll be peace and harmony this week for some of you guys. See that? Kite, vacation for some of you guys this week. And horse, a short journey. So you've got, there's a vacation and a short journey coming up for some of you guys, in which I think you're going to experience peace and harmony. Alright, that's your reading, guys. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. Have a great day. If you'd like to order a personal reading, you can click on the, in the comments section, it's got the, oh, sorry. Yeah, it's got the link to my website and everything. I'm actually having a new website created, so as soon as that comes on, it's going to be all sorts of shit on there as well. I'll let you guys know. Alright, love you. Take care. Bye-bye.